Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to NiFinsights. So, and here we are back to episode 3. Tonight we are going to talk about schools. You know, um, we are going to talk specifically. We are going to talk about school systems. And now here with me, Miss Ilya.
I thought you were going to forget to introduce yourself. Okay, good. Okay, hi, I'm Ilya, and I am an INFP. And this other person with me is Akmal, which is an INTJ.
Yes.
So tonight, we will be discussing about does school system shape us better?
Yes. Um. So by the title, yep. Um, to be honest, I don't really have much um, pros to talk about because I, you know, I don't know. Maybe I don't really see the pros of school systems that much than you. So maybe you can start um, first by talking about the pros. Is that okay?
Oh, I'm going to be starting. I'm not much of an initiator, but okay then. Um, I think how do I say it? Okay, I think first off we can try to go with the intro. Okay, so school is basically a place of where there's an education happening. There will be two types of people. Like I don't know what do you call it in the term, but that would be the teachers and also the students or pupils if it's in elementary. Okay, so this place is where parents would send out their kids so that they will study and gain knowledge that they will be using in their future. So that's what I think what school is. Okay, so it's in these days in our year and age now, it's pretty common for kids to go to school. I know there's this thing. It's a thing for homeschool. It's still a thing, but it's not very usual, which is in contrary with schools, normal schools. Yeah, it's very common. I think I could say that most parents would want to send out their kids to school. Mm. Okay. So so school has syllabus. It has like subjects, common subjects like language and math, something that we need uh, for our future education. And then they have classrooms and also has rankings like at least in our country I think it would be normal to like classify like there's an A B C classroom like in order like it would be usually it would be the first class would be the people with higher grades like students with better grades like the best grades would be in the first class and so on for the later and until the last class would be the ones with lower grades. Okay, so I will be sharing with you what I think school benefits like pros of
Pros and cons, maybe.
yeah
Just overview.
pros of school. So what I can list down is the first thing would be it exposes younger generations to knowledge, knowledge that's very basic knowledge like I mentioned earlier like language, like math, things like that are basic knowledge, right? So parents they send out their kids to school is so that um, yeah, they have someone else that can help teach them while they have parents, they have their jobs or something, so they don't really have the time to teach their kids on their own. So hence that's why they don't homeschool their children. So that's why they send their children to school so that they can learn these things. Yeah, I think that's the pro of schools because they offer that.
Yeah, when we are talking about homeschools, right, we have two options. It's either you, as a parent, you teach your child, or you pay a teacher, a personal teacher, a private teacher, or whatever, to teach your kids, right? So they will be more focused on your kids, and your kids will be happy because um, your teacher is focused on you. Of course, you'll feel happy, right? And then, yeah, by
It depends because some kids they just don't enjoy learning. They're just very like naughty type of kids.
yeah, they are kids, by the way. So, yeah, if the teachers know how to deal with kids, I think it should not be a problem, right? Maybe the teachers can teach while make it fun, maybe something like you treat them with candies after they solve a problems. That's fun for kids. Or that you treat them with video games after they solve a problems, and that's fun. And we don't see this kind of thing at uh, normal schools. Of course, people over there doesn't allow the kids to play video games in a normal school, I would say. Yep. So I think by making the learning process fun, it will help the kids to get their attention. We can get the kids attention to study more, maybe. Yep. Yep. So I think that's it about homeschool. Maybe you can proceed with the rest, Miss Ilya.
I think yeah, I think you're right about the homeschool thing. It's like the thing about homeschool teachers, they are more flexible in what they can offer to the student. Um, they don't need to um, they don't need to be attached with the rules from the normal school would put. Maybe um, they won't allow the students to play video games or something like that, like doing something rewarding after they've that you mentioned, after they've solved a problem, completed a task. They weren't rewarded with anything. So they'll just be like continuing their study like normal. Just they would have lunchtime, break time, recess. That's the only thing that they get. They don't really get things that can actually convince them to um, to do more. So
Yep.
that's how they get bored and they also get distracted, and they will be less interested in learning, because they think learning is like a chore instead of something that's benefiting them.
Yep. And at that point, as a teacher, you just wasting your time teaching them because they're not even giving you attentions, right? Imagine um, we have our own attention span, right? For kids, I will say the attention span will be limited to maybe 10 to 20 minutes, I will say. I don't care. Maybe this just an example. Yeah, let's say the attention span is around 20 minutes, and after 20 minutes, the teacher keeps on teaching, and at that point will be pointless, right? Because you teach nothing to them, because yes, they are tired, distracted. So by having a good rest after uh, a study after studying will be good for the kids to recharge. Yeah.
I think we're still in the pros part, right? But we're already to that part.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite part, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. We're just like going with the flow, right?
Yep.
But I'm gonna share you the actual fact of kids' average attention span.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll list down here from normal elementary age, which would be 7 to 8 years old. So 7 to 8 years old would be 16 to 24 minutes
Okay.
of attention span, while 9 to 10 years old would be 20 to 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
11 to 12 would be 25 to 35 minutes.
Close.
Yeah, it's quite close to the ones that you said earlier.
Close.
So this is what we're trying to say is that yeah, that's the thing about one of the things, the funny thing about school system is like we are expected to be in focus for hours. Like you can have the same subject for 3 hours, like three in the schedule,
Yeah.
like 3 hours. Imagine, yeah, and
Imagine.
from the list I found here on Google from the website cnld.org, it said that even 16 plus years old attention span would be just 32 to 50 plus minutes.
Yep.
Not even more than an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little bit questionable and funny thing. Like we would question like, did they not study when they start making this sort of schedule to kids?
Yep.
They obviously cannot stay focused this long.
They just want to get the job done. I'm here to teach kids, and I get paid for it. Yeah. They do the things. They teach for how many hours they are required to, and they're done, and they go home and repeat for the next day. Yeah, that's it. That's all they want to do. Yep. It's part of the system. Yep.
Well, it's called a job because some people be working with
Yeah.
different intentions. Some of them just work for money. Some of them actually passionate as a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Even you are passionate enough, you can't really do much because, yeah, maybe let's say the system design, your teaching time would be 1 hour, and you cannot really rest that much, right, within that 1 hours. So you need to concentrate on teaching, so you don't really get the chance to be flexible with your students and so on. So when I say school system, yep, it need to be designed to be fit with people's limitations. Yeah. Yep. What do you think?
Basically, the people's actual attention span,
Yeah.
things like that. Like the reality of human itself, a person itself. A person's normal attention span won't be more than an hour. Like and then yeah, if it's kids, of course, it won't be more than an hour. So it should fit like what studies have shown, because it's obviously unrealistic for us to stay focused for the whole 3 hours of class. Yeah, that's impossible.
Yes.
And then the thing about that, the bad thing about that is these kids are tend to be blamed for sleeping in class, for doing things that shows that they're not paying attention, when it's not actually their fault. It's because it's obviously inevitable for them to not experience boredom or distractions. Yeah, I think.
Yep,
Mm.
you're right. So to minimize all of the things um, that students encounter, the problem that students encounters, we need to design a good systems. And again, same thing. You need to design a good system. Okay, so maybe we can talk about um, I will say some of the cons of the school systems.
We're
Is
going.
yep.
We're going straight to the cons. I think I still have some pros I would like to share.
Yeah. So go ahead, share your points about the pros. Why not?
Okay, so the next one would be, maybe I mentioned this, but I accidentally made it as the second point. It's compulsory for students to be studying basic knowledge like reading, speaking, critical thinking. Those stuffs are required. You just cannot. How do I say? You need these stuffs in order for you to go on about in your future, right? You need to learn how to read, you need to learn how to speak. Yeah. So school, of course, these they will expose the students with these type of knowledge. So that's what I consider as a pro, because even if the parent can do that, but they cannot do it like in depth, maybe in depth. They probably will just like do it the very basic ones. Yeah. And then um what do you think about?
Yeah. So what you were saying uh, is true. We, as a parents, of course, we have our own limitations with our knowledge, especially and also especially with our time and energy. We also have our own jobs that we need to do at daytime, right? So we don't have much time to spend with our kids and teach them what we know. Even you are a professor, you are a teacher, maybe we still having a hard time to teach your own child because you are busy for the whole day, right? You have your own homework to do, assignment to do, whatever you need to do. You need to plan about what you are going to teach the students tomorrow, your student tomorrow, right? Yeah. So we do have our own limitations as parents. I do agree with that.
Okay. So okay, good then. And then the last pro that I have, I know there's going to be a lot more pros. I'm just going to share like a quick sets of pros I have right now.
Yeah.
Um, so it trains students to become more disciplined, so because that's I would say that you can also learn to be disciplined at home, but I think since home is where you're with your family, so you are more drawn to being comfortable. So at school is like where you step outside of your comfort zone. So, and that requires you to be disciplined. And I think school is a great place for you to improve your disciplinary stuff like that.
Yep. And we're talking about discipline right now. So to create a good self-discipline, you need to push yourself and crack the shell of your comfort, right? So whenever you go to school, you feel like, oh, I need to study more because I need to compete with my own classmate, for example. And let's say um, I'm having a very strict and scary teachers, and you are scared to make any mistakes, to not do their homeworks and whatsoever. Yeah, so school will push yourself out of your comfort zone to become a better person with better disciplines. Yeah.
Yeah, I think plus if at home it would be well, it's probably a different case if the parents are the very scary type. That would be a different case, but parents usually they would feel sympathizing, and they, yeah, since they are being loving to their children, they would prone to be yeah, just give in to their comfort. They would just let them be comfortable and stuff, so they're not really strict about it. So having another person outside of your family would be, yeah, it would be a good move for you to mm, obtain better discipline. Mm.
Okay. So there's a lot of pros that we we talk about. So right now maybe um we talk about some of the cons. Okay, let's say um you are the president of the schools. What are you going to do? Okay, I will start. I will start by restructuring the school system. Like what? Maybe. Okay, I'll give you one example. I will restructure the school by I will praise the students. I will praise the students with their mistakes, because our schools right now, you get punished when you make any mistakes. You don't do homework. You state the wrong answers, and you get punished by that things. You know. Um, yeah, I will say I will be more flexible with the students. I will listen to their reasons why they don't do their homework. It must be a reason. I want to see how they think, how they arrange their words to make sure they are um, get to convince the teachers that their problems is more important than the homework. Yeah, and it is important when uh, we want to develop the communication skills, right? Yeah, I will see that we can be more flexible in our school system. And then why okay what again why I want to restructure the system. One of the reasons is um, you don't get to choose the course that you want, because some students doesn't really get the chance to study what they want, right? And if uh, the students get to choose what they want to study, it will be better, because they will have more motivations. They are interested in that thing, right? Yep. So um, by doing this, we can generate more um, generate maybe we can develop, yeah, develop persons with the skills that they want to develop, right? Yeah. Whatever. Okay, so maybe you can share a bit about the cons. Do you have some points about the cons?
Yeah, of course I do. Well, Before I start sharing the con, I just want to say that for me, it's normal for system to have flaws. It's pretty normal. It's just that it's in the matter of how much, um, how many flaws that they have, and whether it's still valid for us in these days for us to have that sort of flaw. I think if I don't know if that's making any sense. Yeah, that's for me. Okay. So right now it's just like giving like a little criticism for school system, something like that. Okay. So
Or
what?
mine? Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So one of the cons that I have right now would be so kids, children, they will become the victim of comparison. This is pretty common. I think it happens to almost every children who goes to school.
Yep.
Yep. So, well, how do I say? So what's the school system has something to do with this? Of course, it has something to do with this because, since we are giving out grades, for the performance that we've done, like for the tests that we've gone through, um, we'll be given grades and results, and our parents will know, and then the parents would, yeah, they will mention about it. They, of course, they will like they will be drawn to comparing their children to other people's children. They would feel like, oh, why my kid is not as as intelligent as that like my friend's kid. They would think that way, and the problem with this is that it's problematic that when they start blaming their kid in terms of saying, why are you you should do better. Look at that. Look at our neighbor. Look at our neighbor. She got better than your result and stuff like that. And I know maybe it would probably sound subtler in real life. I'm just like my example sounds a little bit harsh, but that's actually what's happening, and it it makes the kid become like have some sort of feeling like they feel depressed. They feel like they've done their best, but since their parents are blinded by their own selfish desires of, okay, their own desires of wanting to have an intelligent kid, wanting to have something to be proud of, they they ignore their kids' actual potential, that when they should have put their mind, like they should have think in other way. They should have think, oh, okay, if my kid isn't like any other kids, it just means that they still have a chance to become better later. Maybe not now. Like maybe it's something that they failed is not something. It's not the end. Yeah, maybe it's not something they're good at, but they may be good at something else. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I will agree on that because yeah, um, some parents will give their kids and child the unnecessary burdens of their ego or whatever we call it. Maybe expectations. Yeah, these kids, maybe they are 12 years old, 13 years old. They are still young, but they are carrying their parents' big expectations, and this maybe will cause disappointment because their child fail to fulfill their desire, right? Their needs, or yeah, whatever you want to call it, and they feel they are being sad. When they're sad, they are depressed and they don't want to study anymore. All right, they don't have the spirit to study. So um, yeah, it is a selfish things to do. So make sure, don't, as a parent, don't put your child with that high of the kind of expectations. Okay, be flexible, be cool, be a cool parent. Okay. Okay,
I don't
sorry.
know. Is this like a con for school system? I mean, it's the contribution. It's sort of like a contribution of comparison happening to children, and then school system can yeah, like we mentioned earlier. I think this one is similar point. It put pressure on the kids because they think that well they're still very young, they think of pure things like they need to make their parents proud. Yeah, that's always the only purpose that they have at the moment because they are still not like exposed in yeah other stuffs yet. Okay, so and then oh, this one is interesting. This is the last con that I have, which is very relatable to me, which is school system can make the students develop a fear of failure. They they are afraid of failing so much, like because the the punishment, the feeling, they will start feeling like very devastated when they feel um how do I see it?
Say
Uh,
what?
yeah, a fear of failure. I think this thing is very it's a very serious matter because a fear of failure you can carry it until adulthood. You can have this sort of trauma until you're in your 20s. You will be so scared of making mistakes because you are always like used to um, becoming for example you're always a good student in terms of having good grades. You're always having good grades, and then when you fail you will be very hard on yourself because that's not very usual for you, and your parents and people around you would like ask you why, how did that happen, and that made you feel very that can make you feel very depressed, and you start to have that sort of fear until you're an adult. Yeah, and that's very unhealthy.
Yeah, and again, this fear develop just because of the expectations that the parents put on them. And yeah, this is very dangerous. There are some cases related to suicide, students that kill themselves just because they don't get a good grades.
A trigger warning.
Yeah, and this is very serious. As a parents, we should try to understand our kids' situations, right? Try to uh, assure them whenever they feel down, feel sad because they have a bad grade. All right. So yep, I think you you have the point.
Yeah, that's all from me for now.
Yeah. So I think we talked so much about the pros and cons of school system and why um, some of the system need to be restructured, need to be improved in the future. Okay, so yeah, thank you for having me to talk about this topic, Miss Ilya.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Akmal for having me around and sharing your thoughts on it. Okay, I would, I enjoy this session that we're having, and please leave a like, subscribe, share, and also comment. I'm always like I'm always excited to making new episodes and share more with you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think that's it. We can end this episodes. Okay, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya in the next episode. Okay. Bye.
Bye.